कुंज विहारी जय राधा माधवा कुंज विहारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभा गिरिवरदारी जय जय गोपी जन वल्लभा जय गिरिवरदारी जय जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रजकाचार्य स्तोत्र सदस्वी श्रीमद् Divine Grace Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashtotra Saraswati Srimad Divine Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Tagore Srila Prabhupada ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Tagore ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री रूप सनातन भट्ट रघुनाथ श्री जीव गोपाल भट्ट दास रघुनाथ शरद गोस्वामी वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोपिनाथ श्याम कुंद राधा कुंद गिरि गोवर्धन की व्रजभूमि वृंदावन धाम की मायापूर्ण जगन्नाथ पुरी धाम की मथुरा धाम की जय जगन्नाथ बलदेव सुभद्र महारानी की श्री श्री निताई गौर सुंदर की श्री श्री प्रहलाद नरसिंहदेव भगवान की श्री श्री राधा माधव की Sri Krishna Bhagavan ki, Hare Krishna Mahamindra ki, Harinam Sankirtana Yajna ki, Patita Pavan Srila Prabhupada ki, Nitai Gaura Premanande. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Jaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tado Jayam Mudiraye. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, K.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki, chapter 15, text 18. Smaksharam atitoham aksharat abhichottamah adosmi loke vedecha pradida purushottamah yasmaksharam atitoham aksharat abhichottamah adosmi loke vedecha pradida purushottamah yasmat ksharam atitoham aksharat abhichottamah adosmi loke vedecha pradida purushottamah. Translation: because I am transcendental beyond both the fallible and the infallible, and because I am the greatest, I am celebrated both in the world and in the Vedas as that Supreme Person. Purport: no one can surpass the Supreme Personality of God, Krishna, neither the conditioned soul nor the liberated soul. He is therefore the greatest of personalities. Now it is clear here that the living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead are individuals. The difference is that the living entities, either in the conditioned state or in the liberated state, cannot surpass in quantity the inconceivable potencies of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is incorrect to think of the Supreme Lord and the living entities as being on the same level or equal in all respects. There is always the question of superiority and inferiority between their personalities. The word Uttama is very significant. No one can surpass the Supreme Personality. The word Loke signifies in the Paurusha Agama, the Smriti scriptures, as confirmed in the Nirukti dictionary. Lokyade Vedartho Nena. The purpose of the Vedas is explained by the Smriti scriptures. The Supreme Lord, in his localized aspect of Paramatma, is also described in the Vedas themselves. The following verse appears in the Vedas, Chandogya Upanishad 8.12.3. तावत्येष सम्प्रसादो अस्माच्चरिरात् समुत्थाय परं ज्योतिरूपं सम्पत्य स्वेन रूपेणाभिनिष्पत्यते स उत्तमपुरुषः. The super soul coming out of the body enters the impersonal Brahmajyoti. Then in his form, he remains in his spiritual identity. That Supreme is called the Supreme Personality. This means that the Supreme Personality is exhibiting and diffusing his spiritual effulgence, which is the ultimate illumination. That Supreme Personality also has a localized aspect as Paramatma. by incarnating himself as the son of Satyavati and Parashara. He explains the Vedic knowledge as Vyasadeva. Om Tat Sat. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjanachalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhudale Srimade Jayapataga Swamin Nidinamini Namacharya Padaya Nitai Grava Gauragada Damadaya Nagaragramadharine Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhudale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Nidinamini Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Desudarine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna. So, so this chapter is called Yoga of the Supreme Person, uh, or in Sanskrit, this chapter is called Purushottama Yoga. Here in the sloka, Krishna is addressed as Purushottama. He himself is saying. And in Vedas also, there is one word describing the Supreme Lord. Krishna is called Asamourdva. Asamour means nobody is above Krishna and nobody is equal to Krishna. So even Brahma, Lord Shiva also, they are subservient to the Supreme Lord Krishna. What to speak of the insignificant living in, right? Even Brahma, Lord Krishna, for solving the problems. Whenever there is some problems in the material world, then all the demigods, 33 crore demigods, they will approach Lord Brahma for solving the problems. And Brahma will pray to the uh, Shirodaka Sai Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, for removing the problems. So from this, you can understand that Krishna is called Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. Vibhum means Krishna is the greatest person. We cannot estimate, cannot understand by our brain. That is why spiritual life, no, it is actually inconceivable. Everything about the Supreme, we cannot understand it with our brain. Because our brain, in this material world, people are so proud about their intelligence. But that intelligence also is under the false ego. And that is material only. We cannot understand the Supreme with our material brain. It is not possible. Or we can say in the general principle, transcendence cannot be understood by the matter. That is why Adho Sri Krishna Namadi Nabavet Grahyam Indriyai. Nabavet Grahyam Indriyai. Napavet grahyam indriya means blunt material senses. Yes, all our senses are only eyes, nose, ears, right? We are gathering knowledge through these senses. But with the blunt material senses, even the holy name of the Lord, it cannot capture because uh, the spiritual subject matters cannot be understood by the material subject. It is not possible. That is why it's mentioned Swayam Eva Spuratyadaha. Swayam Eva Spuratyadaha means Sevan Mukehi Jihvado, when we perform loving devotional service. See, we are all servant of Krishna. Jivera Surabhagoi, Krishnera, Nitya, Das. They are eternal servant of Krishna. That is our permanent constitutional position. So our role is to serve Krishna in a loving way. When we perform loving devotional service, then if Krishna is pleased with our service, then he will reveal himself. In this way only. Nobody can capture Krishna by their erudite scholarship or by their yogic powers. No, it's not possible. Sabdake Purusham Nishu. Krishna is saying in the 10th chapter, saying in the 10th chapter, Sabdake Paurusham Nishu. Paurusham Nishu means human beings, they are having, each one is having some special talent. But that talent is also coming from Krishna only. So in the 7th chapter also there is a nice sloka. Tribir Gunamayer Bhavai Ebis Sarvam Idam Jagat Mohidam Nabijanadi Mamepya Param Abjayam. Mamepya Param Abjayam. Krishna is Abjayam means inexhaustible. It's beyond our conception. And who are we? We are all conditioned souls. Ebis Sarvam Idam Jagat. The entire Jagat, the entire material world is under the strong grip of three modes of material nature. This is our position. So, under false ego, because of the influence of false ego, we are all thinking that we can understand the Supreme or we can see Krishna with our talent. Like that, we are forced to think by the false ego. But Saranagati means when we understand the supremacy of the Lord and when we understand our insignificant position, then the Jiva, the spirit soul, he will voluntarily, he will surrender to the Lord, begging for Krishna's mercy. That's called surrender. That is why we should read or understand the supremacy of Lord Krishna. Without understanding, that is why Prabhupada used to say this word. Everyone says God is great, but we should know how God is great. And only we will become submissive. The submissiveness, that is a criteria for entering into the transcendental realm. Normally, when we are under false ego, pride only will come. Pride only, repeatedly pride will manifest. That is why Kunti Devi is saying, Janmaishwarya Sudasribir Edamana Madapuman Naivarkatapidadum Vai Swamatinjana Gocharam. Janma, taking birth in a very good family, and Aishwarya. Aishwarya means it refers to here in this particular sloka as opulences, wealth, varieties of wealth. Janma Aishwarya Sudha Srivir Sutta. Sutta means, you used to say this point, even possessing Vedic knowledge also. When possessing Vedic knowledge without bhakti, it will create pride. Yes, because Kundevi prayed to Krishna 5000 years ago. Her prayers are recorded in Srimad Bhagavatam. 5000 years ago, the Sutta means knowledge or learning. Okay, so 5000 years ago, Kunti Devi is referring to the Vedic study only as Sutta. There was no material study during Kunti Devi's period. So even possessing Vedic knowledge also will create pride. The classic example is, because we are we'll be celebrating Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance day, Gaura Purnima, on March 25th. So I just want to recollect Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wonderful pastimes. There was one devotee called Vallabha Bhatta. There is a famous sampradaya called Vallabha Sampradaya. And Vallabha Bhatta was the founder of that sampradaya. So this Vallabha Bhatta, he was from a Brahmin family, highly learned person. 500 years ago, during Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's period. So he was a great scholar in the scriptures, plus birth from a good Brahmin family. So Kunti Devi already mentioned, without bhakti, if we possess even Vedic knowledge also, it will create pride. False ego will constantly create pride within us. And this pride is the biggest obstacle to surrender to Krishna. Surrender means humility. One of the lakshana of surrender is humility, becoming humble, considering our insignificant position and begging for the mercy. That is called surrender. Big acharyas, they are praying to the Supreme Lord. Understanding the supremacy of Krishna, they are praying. So this Vallabha Bhatta was a great scholar in the scriptures, and he was from a Brahmin family. And he understood that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself, because he studied the scriptures. And the Vallabha Bhatta, when he was in Allahabad, so he worshipped Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a Supreme Lord, and repeatedly he invited Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to his house for taking prasadam, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was a sannyasi and Vallabha Bhatta was a grahastha. So that's a custom. Grahasthas, they will invite sannyasis to their house for taking prasadam. So he many times he invited, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also visited several times Vallabha Bhatta's house. And those times Vallabha Bhatta was worshipping Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, considering him as a Supreme Lord, because he studied the entire scriptures. But that Vallabha Bhatta, later period, he became proud. This is the problem. When I was discussing with some other devotee, when the identification, material identification, when it increases within us, nature will increase. That is the trick, Maya's trick, I think. That is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught all of us that we are all eternal servants of Krishna. That is the permanent identification. Permanent identification. Nagam Vipro, Nacha Narabadir, Nabi Vaishyo, Nasudro, Nagam Varni, Nacha Grakabadir, No Vanasto Idurva, Prodyan Nigila Paramananda Purna Mridabdir, Gopi Bhaktu, Padakamalayo, Dasa Dasa Dasa. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, several times he quoted this sloka with his close associates. So he is saying, Naham Vipro, I am not a Brahmana. Nacha Narabadir, I am not a Kshatriya. Nabi Vaishyo, na Sudro. I am not a Vaishya, I am not a Sudra. But Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in the Brahmin family only. But he is saying, I am not a Brahmana. He is teaching all of us. Naham Varni, I am not a Brahmachari. Nacha Grahapadir, I am not a Grahastha. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he took sannyas at the age of 24, up to that point he was a Grahastha. But he is saying, I am not a Grahastha. There is a nice point, nice philosophy in this particular teaching that we will discuss. No vanasto idirva. I am not a vanachari. Vanachari means one who is practicing vanaprastha life, renouncing family life and living in the forest. It's called vanachari. So, I am not a vanachari, then no vanasto idirva. I am not a sannyasi also. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu took sannyas. But he is saying, I am not a sannyasi also. Who am I? Prodyan, Nigera. Why he is saying all these things? All these identifications now, it is for the body only. It's for the body only. Even though Varnashrama was created by the Supreme Lord Krishna, but again Varnashrama is the relative truth only. The relative truth only. The body, it is related to the world, that is why it is called a relative truth. Or we can say it is related to the false identification. That is why it's called relative truth. Absolute truth means absolute truth will never change. It will never change. Irrespective of situations, it will never change. It will stay permanent. That's called absolute truth. Yes, permanently, I am spirit soul, I am servant of Krishna. That is permanent. That is called absolute truth. It will never change. Many times we discussed in the different classes. The reality is Krishna is real, Atma is real, and the loving exchange between Krishna and Atma is real. That's all. All other things are illusion created by Maya. Maya is creating all the illusions. So, that is why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught all of us that they are not all these identifications. The problem is when we deal with matter in the material world, identifications also will come unknowingly. We will embrace all those identifications unknowingly. And without our notice, actually, without our knowledge, our pride also will increase. This happened 500 years ago also. Actually, history repeats, they will say. The same thing only, Maya will attack all the conditioned souls in a stereotyped way only. That is her role. So Vallabha Bhatta, and many times what he will do now, he will approach Lord Chaitanya's associates, Govinda, Govinda was the personal servant of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Swarupa Damodar Goswami, he was the secretary, personal secretary of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All these, all their names are mentioned in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita book. Very beautiful book. So, so we will approach Govinda, Swarupa Damodar Goswami, Advaita Acharya. All of them are wonderful devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. But this Vallabha Bhatta, he repeatedly approached all these associates of the Lord, and in the discussion, he was always actually thinking that I am great in the scriptures, I'm a great scholar, I'm a Brahmana from a Brahmin family. So that identification he was embracing. This is the problem. We should never embrace all these false identifications. These are all created by Maya. We should always think that I am spirit soul servant of Krishna. As soon as we forget this identification, immediately we are under track. We are under illusion only. So Vallabha Bhatta, he was internally thinking that I am a Brahmana. These people they are not from a Brahmin family. They don't know anything. I am a great scholar. And he wrote also in the scriptures. But we should know the scholarship or talent, that is also coming from Krishna only. Krishna is only giving the talent. If Krishna wants, he can withdraw the talent at any time. But the jivas, the foolish jivas, under the false ego, they are actually forgetting the supremacy of the Lord. Repeatedly it was going on. One day Vallabha Bhatta, he approached all these devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with a particular logic. We should know very clearly that logic is produced from Rajoguna. From the Rajasic intelligence only logic is produced. Through logic, one cannot capture Bhakti or Krishna. It is not possible. Logic is produced from the fertile brain. Rajoguna operates like that only. So one day, Vallabha Bhatta came with a particular logic. He approached Advaita Acharya. Advaita Acharya is one of the associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he is Mahavishnu himself. Appeared as in a devotee form. Because Krishna appeared as a devotee, that is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The same way Lord Mahavishnu also appeared as a devotee. He is called Advaita Acharya. So this Vallabha Bhatta approached Advaita Acharya and he said, he thought that I can defeat easily all these devotees. So he produced one logic. He said, oh, Advaita Acharya, you people are all chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But normally, a chaste lady, she will not chant. She will not say husband's name. This is the logic actually. But we should know, logic is subordinate to Bhakti. So he thought, I have defeated all these devotees. Because you are all chanting Krishna's names. We are all Prakriti. We are all female. And Krishna is the Purusha. Krishna is the supreme Purusha. Male, supreme male actually. We are all meant for his pleasure. Yes, that philosophy is correct. We are all Prakriti only. Prakriti means we are female. And Krishna is the supreme Purusha. So Vallabha Bhatta's argument is, oh Advaita Acharya, you are all chanting Krishna's names. But the chaste lady will not say husband's name. So how you are all chanting Hare Krishna? It's not correct, no. So like that, he argued with Advaita Acharya. He thought that I have defeated with the logic. But we should know, logic is produced from Rajas only. When somebody is under Sattva Guna, the logic will not manifest. He will always, more when we are under Sattva Guna, no, more transcendental faith will be created within us. When somebody is depending on logic means he is having material faith. Most of the time you can see logic is related to the matter only. But the transcendental faith, spiritual faith, no, it can manifest only from Sattva Guna, not from Rajoguna. So he thought he spoke like this. Advaita Acharya, he said, "Oh, Vallabha Bhatta, here the religious principles personification, the personification of religious principles from West Bengal to Puri, Orissa, and purposely he came to Puri just to make Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya a pure devotee. That is, for that purpose only Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to Puri. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he was also a great scholar. He got the title Sarvabhauma. Sarvabhauma means in the entire earth, he was a greatest scholar in the Vedic scriptures. And he was also from a Brahmin family. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya. Bhattacharya normally in the north side, they will use from the Brahmin family, they will use all these titles. Mishra, Bhattacharya, all these titles they will use. So he was also from a Brahmin family, great scholar in the Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is the most toughest scriptures, very difficult to understand. And he was expert in Vedanta Sutra. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he was very beautiful pastime. He was dancing in the streets, chanting Krishna's names. A 24-year-old beautiful sannyasi. And when he went inside to take darshan of Lord Jagannath in Puri, when he saw Jagannath, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu feeling great ecstasy, in ecstatic mode, he fell unconscious inside the sanctum sanctorum. Then all the Pandas means the pujaris of Lord Jagannath, they were very stout and strongest persons. So they actually tried to beat him with a stick. Why somebody fell inside the Garbhagriha? Who is that person? Then they were shouting and trying to beat Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was unconscious because of ecstatic mode, transcendental ecstasy he was experiencing. So they were trying to beat him. That time Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya came. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, one side he was a great scholar, another side he was the, they will say, Asthana Vidwan, they will say. He was a great Pandit and constantly giving guidance also to Raja Prataparudra. So he was having a very good position in the royal assembly also. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, when he came suddenly and he saw this beautiful sannyasi, he was attracted to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he ordered, don't beat him. Let me check what is happening to him. And so beautiful, the golden color, the molten gold color. That beautiful sannyasi was lying down unconscious inside the Garbhagriha. So Bhattacharya, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, he took some cotton and kept near the nose, whether breath is there or not. So the cotton was moving. Then he understood this is not something, some unconscious uh, mood. No, this is actually a transcendental ecstatic mood. He is in that mood. Because Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was expert in the scriptures. So immediately he understood this is not something ordinary. Even though he was expert in the scriptures, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya never experienced those transcendental symptoms, transcendental ecstatic symptoms, never experienced. So he was surprised how this young, beautiful sannyasi is experiencing this transcendental symptoms. He is not ordinary person. He is not dead. So he ordered all uh, the servants immediately bring him to my house. I want to discuss with him. So they carried Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. All the servants of Lord Jagannatha, they carried Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya's house. And slowly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came back to the normal consciousness after a long time. Then Bhattacharya, he felt very much because of he was attracted to the beauty and he was feeling some natural attraction towards Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he said, "Oh, young sannyasi, you are actually singing and dancing in the streets like a emotional person. Normally, a sannyasi should not do this. Sannyasi should sit in the corner and study Vedanta Sutra. But why are you singing and dancing in the streets, chanting Krishna's names like a sentimentalist? So I think you don't know Vedanta Sutra. I will teach you Vedanta Sutra." See, this is pride actually. This is the problem. When we possess some identification now, when some identification is coming, immediately pride will come. This is the principle we should learn. That is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught that I am not a sannyasi, I am not a brahmana, I am not a brahmachari, I am not a grahastha, I am a servant of Sri Krishna. This is the identification constantly we should embrace. Then only pride will not come. So, Bhattacharya, he was thinking that he is a young sannyasi, he does not know Vedanta Sutra. Even now also that place is there in Puri, in Bhattacharya's house. So Bhattacharya is sitting in the raised asana and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Supreme Lord, he is sitting in the lower position. Very humbly he is sitting. Then Bhattacharya spoke Vedanta Sutra. Vedanta Sutra is very tough. In those periods, no, if anyone is giving commentary for Vedanta Sutra, then only the spiritualists, no, they will accept him as an acharya. If there is no commentary for Vedanta Sutra, they will not accept that sampradaya. So this Adi Shankaracharya also gave commentary for Vedanta Sutra. That's called Sariraka Bhashya. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was expert in that Sariraka Bhashya. So he was explaining Vedanta Sutra sitting in the raised asana. For 7 days he explained Vedanta Sutra. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard everything and he never responded in. He was keeping mum. Complete silence for 7 days. So nobody can behave like this. That is why Supreme Lord, he will always behave in an extraordinary way. We cannot understand. So 7 days he kept complete silence. He didn't speak a single word. So after 7 days, Bhattacharya was very surprised. What is this? Whether this sannyasi is understanding Vedanta Sutra or not. So because of impatience, Bhattacharya spoke, "Oh sannyasi, whether you are understanding Vedanta Sutra or not, if you don't understand, please tell me, I will explain once again." Then 7th day, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke. In a humble way, he spoke. "Oh, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya." Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya was he was a 80-year-old person. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was 24-year-old young sannyasi. But he is the Supreme Lord. So he spoke in a very humble way. "Oh, Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, you are a great scholar in the entire earth. And I know Vedanta Sutra, But your explanation is wrong, he said. The first word Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like this. Your explanation is wrong. I know Vedanta Sutra. But he is the Supreme Lord. He is, as Vyasadeva, he himself wrote commentary for Vedanta Sutra. Right? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like this. Then Bhattacharya was very angry. How you can speak like this? You are a 24-year-old young sannyasi. How you can speak? I am a Sarvabhauma. I am an 80-year-old person. How can you speak like this? So, okay, if you know Vedanta Sutra, you can give your explanation. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu started speaking. He started speaking. He gave a complete different commentary for Vedanta Sutra in a devotional way. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya gave commentary for Vedanta Sutra in a monist, impersonalist. They will say that there is no form for the Supreme. In that angle, he was giving explanation. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu completely defeated all those things and gave a beautiful explanation in a devotional way. Like Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya, they also gave commentary for Vedanta Sutra. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu followed those explanations and gave a beautiful explanation. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya understood he cannot be an ordinary human being. How a person can give a so wonderful explanation without touching impersonalism and giving complete different devotional explanation for Vedanta Sutra. How it is possible? He cannot be an ordinary human being. So Bhattacharya, he felt very much humiliated, exactly like a Vallabha. Felt very much humiliated and immediately left that place. And Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya went to his deep inside the house and closed the door. He was always thinking, who is that sannyasi? How he defeated me? And he is also a scholar, great scholar. And he thought, all his explanation was perfect. There cannot be any wrong also. Everything is perfect. Why I didn't know all these explanations, all these tests? He was thinking, who is that sannyasi? And he was remembering, because he is a scholar in the scriptures. He was remembering, Swarnavarno Hemango, Varanga Chandanangadi, Sanyada Krichamasando, Vishtanandi Parayanam. Oh, in Vishnu Sahasranam it is mentioned, Lord will appear as in a golden color form and he will take sannyasa. So whether this person is same, he was actually correlating all those quotations with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he never ate at all. In the night, he didn't eat lunch also. Dinner. He didn't eat dinner also. And he was always thinking, who is that person? Who is that person? Connecting all the quotations with Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In the middle of the night, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared in front of Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in Satbhuja form. Satbhuja form means six-armed form. And in the two hands he was holding flute, showing that I am Krishna. In another two hands he was holding, that is, bow and arrow. I am that same Supreme Lord Ramachandra. And in another two hands he was holding this Kamandalu and Danda. That same Rama and Krishna, now I have appeared as a sannyasi. So he showed this wonderful form, Satpuja Murti, specifically for Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya in his house. That's all. Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya completely smashed, all his pride was smashed and he surrendered to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu on the spot. He glorified Chaitanya Mahaprabhu with 108 Sanskrit slokas because he was expert in the scriptures. To glorify, that's called actually Sarvabhauma Sataka. Sarvabhauma Sataka. Because Sataka means 100. The hundreds transcendental glorification of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu he did on the spot. So Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya immediately accepted Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as a Supreme Lord. So why I am saying all these pastimes now? We should accept the supremacy of Krishna. I am nothing. I am an insignificant jiva. So when this attitude manifests within us now, then naturally we will surrender to Krishna. As long as we are identifying with all the false identifications. If we identify ourselves with all these designations, then immediately pride only will manifest and we cannot surrender to Krishna. That is why Krishna is saying, I am Purushottama, I am the greatest person. Krishna is saying, I am the greatest. I am celebrated both in the world and the Vedas as a supreme person. So Krishna is a supreme person and nobody can go above him and nobody is equal to him also. So we are all subordinate to Sri Krishna. So that same Krishna appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu 500 years ago just to distribute Krishna Prema to all of us simply by chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. By chanting Krishna's names alone, simply by doing this, one can develop Krishna Prema, love for Krishna. This is Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's wonderful teaching for all of us. So let us all utilize this opportunity. When we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will be pleased and he will easily award Krishna Prema to all of us. That is the goal, that is the treasure for the human being. Okay? Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki, Gita Bhavan Srila Prabhupada ki, Gita Gaura Premanand.
Hare Krishna. Anybody have any questions? தமிழ் கூட உங்களுக்கு ஏதாவது கேள்விகள் தான் கேட்கலாம். போத் லாங்குவேஜ் இங்கிலீஷ் அண்ட் தமிழ். ஓகே. Srinivasa, for a wonderful Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. upcoming festival announcement. வரக்கூடிய 25ஆம் தேதி, இந்த மார்ச் 25ஆம் தேதி மிக மிக முக்கியமான நாள். கூடிய விஷயத்துல வந்து இது உலகம் முழுவதும் கொண்டாடப்படுகின்ற உற்சவம். பகவான் ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ண இன்னிட்டு அவதாரங்கள் எடுத்திருந்தாலும் கூட ஸ்வயம் கிருஷ்ணராக பக்தராக தானே பக்தராக வந்து எப்படி இந்த பக்தி தொண்டை நான் செய்ய வேண்டும் என்பதை ஒரு உதாரணமாக இருந்து நமக்கெல்லாம் உபதேசங்கள் மூலம் போதனைகள் மூலமாக சொல்லிட்டார். இந்த சைத்தன்ய மகாபிரபு கூட்டினத்தை கௌரவ பூர்ணிமா மகோத்சவம் நம்ம கொண்டாடுறோம். ஜெய கௌரங்க மகாபிரபு கி, ஜெய கௌரவ பூர்ணிமா மகோத்சவ கி. கௌரவ பிரேமானந்தி இந்த கௌரவ பூர்ணிமா மகோத்சவமானது காலை முதல் ஆரத்தி தொடங்கி இரவு மகாபிஷேகம், அதைத் தொடர்ந்து மகா ஆரதி, மகா பிரசாதம், சிறப்பு சொற்பொழிவு, இந்த மாதிரி எண்ணற்ற நிகழ்ச்சிகள் அதை நாள் முழுவதும் நடைபெறும். குறிப்பாக காலை 9 மணி முதல் மாலை 6 மணி வரை தொடர்ந்து அகடநாம சங்கீதமும் தோரகதா இரண்டு மாறி மாறி நம்ம கோவிலில் நடைபெறும். அதற்கு இடையில வந்து பகவான் ஸ்ரீ கிருஷ்ணனுடைய திருப்பாதங்களுக்கு நம்ம கல்யாண மண்டபத்துல மகாபிஷேகம் காலை 10 மணி அளவில் நடைபெறும். மாலை நிகழ்ச்சியில் குறிப்பாக மகாபிஷேகம் சரியாக 6 மணி அளவில், அதைத் தொடர்ந்து சிறப்பு சொற்பொழிவு மகாராஜாவுக்கு, அதைத் தொடர்ந்து மகா ஆரத்தி, அதைத் தொடர்ந்து மகா அணுகல்ப பிரசாதம். கௌரவ பூர்ணிமா என்று நம்ம வந்து இப்பொழுதுமே வந்து அணுகல்ப பிரசாதம் தான் எப்படி ஏகதசி பிரசாதம் தானியங்கள் இல்லாமல் இருக்கக்கூடிய பிரசாதம் நமக்கு விநியோகம் செய்யப்படும். அதைத் தொடர்ந்து அடுத்த நாள் பகவான் சைத்தன்யருடைய அவதரி தினத்தை தந்தையார் ஜெகநாத் மிஸ்ரா அவர்கள் அளிக்கக்கூடிய பிரசாதத்திலிருந்து 26ஆம் தேதி செவ்வாய்க்கிழமை வருகிறது. இந்த 2 தினங்களிலும் இந்த கௌரவ பூர்ணிமா மகோத்சவமானது கொண்டாடப்பட உள்ளது. ஆகவே இந்த 2 உற்சவங்களுக்கும் நன்கொடைகள் வரவேற்கப்படுகின்றது. குறிப்பாக நமது கோவிலுடைய அலங்காரம், புஷ்ப அலங்காரம், அதைத் தொடர்ந்து மகா அபிஷேகத்துக்கு தேவையான அபிஷேக பொருட்கள், தேன், பால், தயிர், இந்த மாதிரி எல்லா விதமான நன்கொடையும் வரவேற்று, குறிப்பாக பழங்கள். ஏன்னா அணுகல் பிரசாதத்துக்கு அதிகமான இந்த பழங்கள், காய்கறிகள் வரவேற்கப்படுகிறது. அதைத் தொடர்ந்து ஜெகநாத் மிஸ்ரா தேவையான அன்னதான சேவையும் நீங்க விருப்பப்படுறவங்க பண்ணலாம். ஸ்பான்சர் கூட நீங்க மேலும் விவரங்களுக்கு அபிஷேகத்தை குறித்து விவரங்களுக்கு ப்ளீஸ் கான்டாக்ட் பக்ததாஸ் பிரபு ஹெச் பூஜாரி. Then anything regarding Gaurav Purnima, contact me. My number is you note பண்ணிக்கலாம் 9843118108. Anything you sponsors contact me. Hare Krishna. Thank you. ஹரே கிருஷ்ணா. ஒவ்வொரு வாரம் திருக்கோயிலுக்கு முதன்முறையாக பல பக்தர்கள் வந்துருக்காங்க. இந்த வாரம் ஏதாவது முதன்முறையாக திருக்கோயிலுக்கு பக்தர்கள் இருந்தால் தயவு செய்து வருவார்கள். First time visitors